Later, Wobin sat in his room, staring at his phone. He thought about calling Sunjin, but let his pride hold him back, especially after everything that had happened between them. Instead, he walked over to his dresser and picked up a small toy car, one that Sunjin had given him when they were kids. He smiled at the memory, took a picture of the toy, and sent it to Sunjin with a simple smiley face. He hoped Sunjin would understand that the message was his way of apologizing and showing that he still cared. At that moment, Sunjin was working out in his home gym, trying to clear his mind. But no matter how hard he tried, his thoughts kept drifting to Wobin. He knew he shouldn't be thinking about him, especially since Wobin had made it clear that their friendship no longer mattered to him. But the bond they had formed since childhood wasn't something he could easily forget. Losing his best friend hurt in ways he had never expected. After finishing his workout, he went to the living room and checked his phone. Seeing Wobin's message, he smiled. He couldn't believe Wobin still had the toy car he had given him as kids. Immediately, he responded with a picture of a park, the park where they used to play hide-and-seek when they were young. It was his way of saying they should meet there to talk. Minsu walked into the room and noticed Sunjin smiling at his phone. She asked who he was texting. Pulling her closer, he teased her about being jealous before reassuring her that it was just Wobin. Minsu, concerned, asked if everything was okay between them. Sunjin told her he hoped so. He explained that he was planning to meet Wobin in hopes of finally resolving their issues. Minsu, happy that they were making an effort to mend their friendship, encouraged him to go. Sunjin smiled at her and said he needed to shower first. Taking her hand, he playfully suggested she join him. He promised to be back early so they could spend time together. Holding her hand, he led her upstairs. Later that night, Sunjin arrived at the park carrying some beers. He spotted Wobin sitting on a bench and walked over to join him. Handing him a beer, Sunjin asked if he had been there long. Wobin nodded, saying he had come early to get some fresh air. Sunjin chuckled, reminiscing about how they used to sneak out every evening to come to the park. He recalled how, whenever their maids came looking for them, they would hide so they could spend more time together. Wobin laughed, remembering how Sunjin didn't like the food at his house, so he would always steal food and bring it to the park for him. They both smiled at the memories. Sunjin then turned serious, asking Wobin if he was okay. He admitted that he had been worried about him. He mentioned that he understood if Wobin had been heartbroken over Minsu, but clarified that he couldn't have given her up. He loved her too much. However, if Wobin wanted anything else, he would have gladly given it to him. Wobin shook his head, explaining that it was never about Minsu. He had long accepted that she wasn't his. What truly hurt him was feeling like their friendship had been one-sided. He reminded Sunjin of how they had both agreed to pursue art together, even buying an art studio. But then Sunjin had ghosted him and later announced that he had decided to become CEO of his family's company. To make matters worse, he never checked on Wobin or supported him. Even when Wobin traveled the world trying to escape reality, Sunjin had barely reached out. Sunjin listened, guilt washing over him. He admitted that his father had controlled his life back then, going as far as forbidding him from seeing Wobin. Every time he wanted to reach out, his father would blackmail him with guilt over his older brother's death. He insisted that he had always cared about Wobin, but had been too weak to stand up to his father. Wobin sighed, saying he understood now. He admitted that he had let his mother get into his head, which made him overthink everything. He apologized for being cold, and for the way he had treated Yuna. He assured Sunjin that nothing had happened between them. He had only pretended to be with Yuna to provoke him. Sunjin smiled, saying he had never doubted him. He expressed how relieved he was that they had finally talked things out. Wobin joked that if Sunjin loved him so much, he should marry him instead. Sunjin laughed, leaning his head on Wobin's shoulder. He said they were brothers for life. Only death could separate them. They would grow old together. Wobin smiled, happy to have his best friend back.